Hello, I'm Paula Lentz from the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire and co-author of Business Communication, a Problem-Solving Approach. As we noted in our video, Principles and Strategies for Clear Communication, along with visual rhetoric and critical thinking, is a key component to our problem-solving approach. The three main components of this approach are clear communication, critical thinking, and visual rhetoric, and where they overlap is the sweet spot, the place where all the skills come together to make students effective business communication problem solvers. Its problem-solving approach gets directly to the heart of great business communication and helps students gain a professional advantage. Grammar, mechanics, punctuation, style, and structure all impact the clarity of communication and as such receive extensive coverage in our text. Before we proceed, please note that because grammar, mechanics, and punctuation is really quite a mouthful for me, I will use grammar collectively to more efficiently refer to these topics. So let's start with our coverage of grammar, which is one of my very favorite topics to teach. We know most of our students resist grammar instruction. They think it's this mysterious, endless list of rigid rules, and often students are left feeling defeated before they even try to learn them. And then what do we get? We get guesswork, and really who can blame them? And then we too, confronted with this resistance and guesswork, are continually challenged with how to teach grammar in a meaningful and interesting way. To help eliminate the guesswork and promote intentional and meaningful grammar use, Business Communication, a Problem-Solving Approach, contains a chapter on commonly accepted standards for business grammar, yet much like other textbooks. The chapter is interspersed with examples, box text that examines grammar in the workplace, and tips for using Microsoft Word and the Internet to learn and use standard business grammar. At the end of the chapter, you will find a diagnostic test that you and your students can use to plan for grammar instruction throughout the semester. Additionally, you'll find grammar pre- and post-tests within Learn, Smart, Achieve in Connect, the online assignment and assessment tool supporting our content. Unlike other textbooks, though, we don't just leave grammar instruction as a single chapter in the book, because we want students to see grammar less as a set of rigid rules and more as a means of making meaning and making their writing clear, concise, and professional. We have included grammar exercises in a Power Charge Your Professionalism section at the end of each chapter that relates to the chapter topic. So, for example, at the end of Chapter 4, Visual Communication, which shows students how to present quantitative and qualitative data, the Power Charge exercise addresses number use in business. In another example, at the end of Chapter 13, Delivering Business Presentations and Speeches, students brush up on their use of adjectives and adverbs, because we know it's especially cringeworthy when we hear a business person say things like, "We want people to take us serious." Seriously? No, but seriously. By the time students reach the end of Business Communication, a problem-solving approach, they will find Power Charge editing exercises at the end of Chapter 14, Putting Interpersonal Communication Skills to Work in Conversations and Meetings, and Chapter 15, Communicating in the Job Search, that help them practice their grammar in the context of business messages. Additionally, you'll find more adaptive grammar practice in Connect under Learn, Smart, Achieve. But of course, grammar is only part of the big clarity picture. We know tone and style also impact the clarity of a message, and we have talked with business communication instructors from across the country who say one of their challenges is to get students to understand what it means to cultivate a professional tone and style. Our Chapter 5, Crafting Effective Sentences and Paragraphs, addresses this challenge with its coverage of several common tone and style issues many student business writers struggle with: plain language, slang and cliches, technical terms and acronyms, concrete and specific wording, active verbs, logical writing, sentence structure, and paragraphs. To practice their skills, students can edit the 100+ sentences or paragraphs in the end of chapter exercises. Even more adaptive practice is provided in Connect. While much of what we discuss regarding grammar, tone, and style applies to both written and oral communication presents special challenges, which is why we made sure to include discussions on tone and style issues specific to speaking. In Chapter 13, Delivering Business Presentations and Speeches, students learn to develop personal, physical, and vocal traits to cultivate a professional tone and presentation style. In Chapter 14, Putting Interpersonal Skills to Work in Conversations and Meetings, Students learn how nonverbal communication, body language, use of space, use of time, and paralanguage can set the tone and style of their daily interactions in the workplace. If you're like me, your students will frequently say, "But it made total sense in my head," when you point out clarity problems in their work. I'm not sure I want or need really to know what lives in their heads, but I do know that once they learn to live less in their heads and more in the heads of their audiences, they finally understand what clear writing looks like. We have worked hard to provide the ideal solution and have created resources for helping students create clear messages, and we hope you find them as useful as we have. To learn more, visit our website via the link shown on your screen.